Hello, everybody. My name is Clydester, or Deji, whatever you want to call me. But today, as you can see, we have a music box, but it's not your average music box. It's a music box which can hold a lot of things, such as jewelry and different types of knickknacks that you want to put in it. But it's a special type of box. And it's something that I really wanted to talk about today because it's just something that's always been sitting in the house and it was always really special to me. So I guess my parents had this when, like, before I was born, before me and my brother was born. And so it always was there. But what always made it special was the sounds that it made. And I'm actually kind of surprised this thing survived because in 2008 or 2010, I get the dates mixed up sometimes, but I know it was in the late 2000s. And so a tree actually fell on our house and our house was obliterated. Luckily, we got out in time because there's apparently a cord that held the tree up until we left, and it apparently cut the house in half. So luckily we got out when we still had the chance. But surprisingly, this is one of the things that actually survived. And I mean, it's a really strong little thing, despite its looks and everything. But yeah, I don't really know how these things usually tend to go, but you know, I don't really want to hold up your time since it's Super Bowl Sunday. I'm not really too into the Super Bowl, so today that's why I'm doing this video and studying and whatnot. So really, there's not really much special that's really in here. There's a lot of old stuff from like the 2010s, and really, I remember this. I can't really show you the password. I mean, it's not like I use it, but I think it's a Wi-Fi extender of sorts, or I don't know. I remember this. We got this from church. I remember this GameStop card when people used to go to GameStop. Surprisingly, they're still up, but you know. We have balloons. We have a baby in here, a baby picture in here and whatnot, and some IDs that were recently in here but I just took out just to, for identity's sake. But again, what makes this thing so special is the fact that really it's one of the music boxes, or not even music box, just it's not even about the music box, but it's one of the items in my house which actually make me tear up. And I'm never really particularly sure why I tear up, but when it comes to having something which extends back to the past, something that I didn't really think too much of actually, because I never really paid too much mind to this music box as a kid, but whenever someone winded it up, I will always listen to the tune of the music box. And as I got older, I actually kind of became nostalgic for it, as it's something that really reminds me of my childhood and, just the times. And not even like particularly bad or good times, but just my childhood and what occurred in it. Every time, or not every time, but at least when I do hear it, especially let's say if I come back from school from winter, I do start to cry because those times are gone and over. And of course, I can't really get them back, but it's just the fact that they're just gone. And I guess that's possibly a sad thing. But really, in these times, or even growing up, sure, it's always hard to make the best of moments when the moments aren't really the best, but that's what makes it more important to try harder to make those moments even better. There's also a really old ass sticker on here. Juror, so I guess my parents went to jury one day. But it's always best to make, and that's another thing, because at times I feel like we all can get stuck in the past and really make the past seem much more glorified than it really is. But it's really important for us to also value what we have now and realize that all is not lost, but there's more to gain if we decide to take the good things, maybe find the value in that, or even see that we still have the power to make it better ourselves. But I'll just one up this music box for you. And, you can just listen to the music. Don't mind me. This thing's always hard to wind up, but yeah, it's always a really nice thing to listen to. Sadly, it's kind of breaking. I guess after all these years, it's kind of falling apart, but I wind up one more time so you guys can actually hear it. Yeah, so it just goes on and on with the same pattern, but really, this is something that's always been really dear to me since it's from my childhood, but it's really one of the surviving things that I've had from that accident with the tree that's always been here, and I don't know, it's just something I always appreciated. Usually in my house, I'm much more willing to throw out junk because it takes up space, but these are one of the few things that, besides like a typewriter I found downstairs in my basement, or my parents' basement, this is one of those things I'm not really willing to throw out, and would really like to invest money to like fix and upkeep it so it'll at least be okay. But really, I don't really have much more to say. I guess I really enjoyed this box, and I just wanted to share a memory with you guys. So, if you enjoyed it, thank you. And You stay cool. Bye.